Okay, hands up. The title, What Will Happen in 2026, is what our marketing gurus, well, a guru called Mark, might call clickbait. My most viewed vid of last year was What Will Happen in the Budget, which beat the previous, my review of Aber Voyage a few years ago, into the proverbial cocked hat. And I guess it might or might not be fun to look back in a year's time to see how incredibly far wide of the mark my, well, as you'll see, fairly modest ball gazing turns out to be. Depending, of course, where we all are in a year's time. Manning the barricades in Greenland? One thing we probably can predict is that much will be unpredictable. Here's what one of the fund managers who send us their commentaries and predictions said on the 2nd of January. No names, no pack drill. For much of 2025, holiday periods and weekends were not restful for investors, given Trump's propensity to lob grenades into the room at any time. However, at the end of the year, the approach has appeared to change. In itself, this has been a subject of debate. Is it a planned change in policy, or is the president losing his remarkable energy, possibly because of worsening health? And then, the very next day, he invades Venezuela. The nearest we had to a stock market crash last year was Liberation Day, which caused turmoil, well, for a couple of weeks, after which everything went back to normal. There was talk for most of last year, a fair bit of the previous year, of an AI crash with huge falls in the value of those big few companies, which have driven most of the gains in what was actually a very good year for a lot of investments. Now, my prediction, yes, stock markets will fall this year, because they always do. It won't be due to anything that could have been predicted, though, but something maybe Trump-inspired or otherwise, which will come out of the blue. Another prediction, stock markets will go up again, because they always do. It's more likely, I'd say, to still be to do with oil than with AI. We'll see. Over here, we will, of course, have another budget. Surely it can't be as much of a shambles as this year's, can it? I'm afraid it can and probably will. They are already having to backpedal on so much stuff, business rates being the latest, that they will again, I'd say, chuck all sorts of stuff out there, but will this time have to put up income tax, which they should have done in their very first budget and got it out of the way. Okay, next prediction, the decline or demise of private equity. Now, private equity companies have become a big thing in the past 15 years or so. They buy up other companies, often from all sorts of industries and businesses, chuck money at them, build them up, and then either sell or float them, if they can. Now, for most of that time, they could raise the money to do this at interest rates of 1% or less. Now, at 4%, as it has been for the last 2 or 3 years, it's much more difficult to make a profit. Often they won't, and they'll pull out or they'll crash themselves. They've powered a lot of the consolidation, as it's called, in our business, in financial advice, setting up big companies to buy small ones like ours. That, I'd say, will start to die a natural death. Okay, what about us? At Philip James, independent financial advice. Hopefully, easier to predict. We're growing. We'll grow a bit more. We have a new team member who's started for the new year and another to come. I will, I hope, move 1 year nearer to being officially old. That was once 40, then 50, then 60. Yes, I know. To mark this, I'm starting my studies to become a chartered financial advisor. I'll keep you posted. What else? Well, the World Cup. I'm not a fan. Probably won't watch unless we get to the sharp end. My prediction, though, an over-commercialised shambles. But what do I know? Last one, it will be a great summer. And that, for me, can't come soon enough.